majority of the politicians doing bids with the Doughboys in Club Fed. They doing. I got a letter from the feds. He was like, "Yeah, I'm in here with a senator."
That's crazy.
Yeah. So.
Nah, man. Yo, this was very interesting, man. I learned a lot today, man.
They throwing dirt on my paws, but the ball rise like pimples. Anything flies in a rental. Come here, I like your thighs and your dimples. She just like the size of my earrings.
How can, like, just the people watching this, you know what I'm saying? Because I was one of the dudes just watching, you know what I'm saying? How can they, you know, feel like they could be a part, they could cause a change, they could do something, cause a ripple in this whole existence that we call life right now, you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna let the blue, then the red answer.
You know, it all starts with self, first and foremost. I would just say, you know, be interested enough in you that you are compelled to go out there and find something new out about yourself. Something, you know, fresh, something dope, you know what I'm saying? That you could be like, yo, I'm a unique individual. You know, that don't make me better than the next man. It just means that I'm different. Therefore, delve into what it is that you can change about yourself first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? Like, what don't you like about yourself? Investigate that, you know, and see what the root of it is, and can there possibly be a change? And in the process of you looking, you're gonna find things about yourself that you like even more, and magnify those things, you know. And when you start finding the unique things out about yourself, you know what I'm saying, that doesn't necessarily make you better than the next man. It just means that you're a little bit different. So when you encounter the next man and he on some different shit, you know, you're not going to be necessarily judgmental. And I think the absence of judgment is needed if you are about change, especially in a community, you know, because everybody got their own story, you know what I mean? And you have to be open enough, non-judgmental, because you can't listen, you can't hear if you're judgmental. Right? Because you got to get into the depth of things, and your judgment is going to make you shut it off long time before that. You're going to fall into your judgment, and you're just going to be a dickhead or do whatever and be like, get the fuck out of here, you know what I'm saying? Or you're going to find ways to just extend your hurt body to that next person. So hurt people, and that's, you know, we live in a community full of that. But if you want to be a difference in that community, and you want to cut that faucet off, you know, you're going to have to be able to discipline yourself where you got to accept people for who they are. You got to let different people be different. That's what my father told me, and it never left me. You know what I'm saying? You know, because we grew up in an environment, we grew up in a culture of hip-hop that was very homophobic and things of that nature. And he had pulled us to the side and was just like, look, I don't want y'all involved in that stuff right there. You know, he's like, you let people be different, you feel me? And that always stuck with me, and I've been able to do that throughout my life. I let the different people be different. There's some fucking weirdos in this community, you know, let me be clear about that shit, you know what I'm saying? But even them, like, yeah, you like, alright, that nigga's different, I'm gonna give him some different space, you know what I'm saying? Like, he needs the differential space. You know, you could give a nigga the size of the universe to play with, like, you know. And I think that it's different for all of us. We all have our own assignments. So the more that you get to know yourself, your unique approach to how you want to make change in this world is going to speak to you. It's going to start coming out. It's going to start, you know, unveiling itself. You feel me? But you really got to tap into self to get to know those things.
I would say, know thyself in order to know thy wealth. There's no coincidence that man, know thyself is carved on the walls of Kemet. Whenever you go and make that visit, you will see it in the majority of the temples that you visit. By knowing thyself and knowing thy wealth, you could tap into, like I said earlier, your talents and your natural skills, which will propel you to be a creator and be creative in this realm, this physical plane, where all things are mental, and you can manifest thought through your creativity. Henceforth, you could create a life for yourself. Okay, you don't have to suffer. You don't have to be burdened down by this, by the trick that society has played on us to tell you to be a a cooperative slave. You know what I mean? Punch the clock, eat Doritos, watch the game, have sex, make kids, and die. You know, we know that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and we're here for our experiences, but we're also here to be immortalized, to immortalize oneself, so you don't have to come back. That's an African concept. And when you're coming into consciousness, you know, if you're coming out of the hood, if you're coming out of ghetto America, whatever it is, I'm under the auspices that you may be dealing with a bit of trauma. So your path of enlightenment should be dealing with self. It should be dealing with healing. It should be dealing with your core issues. So if you're studying something that's adding on more trauma on top of your trauma, you're gonna find yourself in a position where you're gonna be angry. It's gonna be hard to manifest thought. It's gonna be hard to magnetize people to you. You may repel. If you find yourself as the black sheep in your family, be proud of that shit. You know what I mean? You're the warrior of your family. Families don't produce many warriors. There's usually one or two, right? If you're the black sheep of the family, you know, you need to go amongst other black sheep and do things the black sheep do. Your family is not necessarily the ones that you need to stand on the kitchen table and do your sermon with. You know, they may be into something different. What you would understand as you study more is that you are not who your family is at the end of the day, not all the time. You just came here to make an impact on their lives, maybe in a positive way, but not necessarily to convert them into your consciousness. So get your information, know that you have a community of a lot of people out there, but even when you come into the community, you have to tread very lightly, and you have to be very aware of why you're here. What is your purpose? Find your purpose, because you don't want to be amongst, I don't care what community you go into. If you don't have a purpose, then you are going to be running in circles. There's no Jesus in conscious community. There's no saviors in conscious community. There's nobody it's not a rest haven. You know, this is a community of people who are individually searching for their higher self. They're trying to balance themselves. They're trying to heal. They're trying to get their lives together. They're trying to tap into powers that are inherently inside of them and wake them up. Some of us live vicariously through each other because we know that all is one, but we're still individuals. So that's how we move. And this is a brotherhood and a sisterhood, and it's a community, and we should be working together. So, you know, that's what I would say. Don't be angry. You know, we've been molested. We've been traumatized. There's been a Holocaust. There's been a genocide. There's an ongoing Holocaust. All of these things are taking place. But at the end of the day, are you going to carry all of that weight on your shoulders and not do anything about it and just be mad at the next man, or at your wife, or at your children, at your parents, and look at white people and just hold that shit in? You know when niggas get smacked and they can't do nothing, look at the shaky lip, when they start tearing. You don't want to be, it's a lot of niggas out there like that. Don't ever be him or her. You know what I'm saying? Learn to deal with it. Study your enemy. If you can identify your enemy would be first your lower self. Study your enemy, so study your lower self. What are your weaknesses? What are your vices? You know what I mean? When you're scrolling through Facebook and you see a chick smiling and that shit has you running to the porn sites, you gotta work on that. You know what I'm saying? That might be your weakness. You know what I mean? If you can't go into the grocery store without stopping and buy some pork rinds, you know, and I'm just being funny right now, but at the end of the day, health is wealth. You know what I'm saying? We should all focus on health. There's a lot of athletes, well, a lot of rappers for that matter, a lot of actors, a lot of people that are dying, not in their 70s or their 80s, but in their 40s.
Lord.
Like, nigga, Laura Bush is still alive. The first George Bush is still alive, goddammit. You know what I'm saying? I know they doing all kind of organ transplants for these motherfucking devils, but, you know, how are they getting to live so old? We need to be able to live older.
Henry Kissinger's still here.
Henry Kissinger's still here. So we need to focus on our health. And I only said that because the information could deter your health if you don't get it the right way. It could be a detriment to your health if you're always angry, if you're toxic, if you listen to people that are toxic, if you inundate yourself with people who are giving you negative energy all of the time and hate and all of that stuff. I found out when I start vibrating with a love frequency, I start finding out when I vibrated, when I studied that the black woman was God, and I have all of these muses around me, and I learned to appreciate her beauty rather than just her ass, you know what I'm saying, or rather than just, you know, just lining her up for a one night stand and whatnot. And I just appreciated who she was. And now I have a daughter, so I have to appreciate women even more. You know, that helped out. When I learned to appreciate my brothers, when I learned to appreciate my own brother. Because this red and blue thing, this is a process in the making. It took a long time to get here. So, you know, it helped my health. It helped me maintain my youth. It helped me maintain a lighter heart. You know what I mean? And it even helped information come to me in a better way. So, you know, I will leave you with that. You know what I mean? Get your money up, get your wealth up. It's not only about the fiat, the money, it's about the wealth. It's about the legacy. Leave a legacy for your children. Like I said, immortalize yourself through your arts and sciences. You know what I mean? Don't do it. You don't necessarily want to do it on the back of nobody else. Because when they tell their story, they ain't gonna tell yours. You want to leave your legacy. You know what I mean? Like Dame Dash said, leave something. You hustle for your last name, for your seeds. Word. And if you don't have some, think about your family name. You don't necessarily, if you don't got the seeds, what about your family name? Get that shit popping, because that's the era that we live in. People are immortalizing themselves on their own. That didn't happen before like that. So know the times that you're living in. If your mind is living in the 60s and the 70s, update that shit. You could be an analog person living in a digital world, but know the times that you're living in, the now. You feel me? And know that you could create your future. So don't be a product of your environment. I hate that when the rappers talk about, oh, I'm just a product of my environment. Nigga, you create your reality. Recreate some shit that you want to talk about, waterfalls or something if need be. You know, I'm from the era where Biggie terraformed the whole Brooklyn with words, my nigga. He didn't have the 600 when he was talking about it. Okay? He didn't even have a lot of the Versace. Alright? But he spoke it and we all got it. We got it by any means, through hook or crook, my nigga. However we wanted it, we got it. But we were able, he painted such a vivid picture for us that we were able to terraform the whole fucking Brooklyn, and henceforth the whole culture, the whole world started in BK. You know what I mean? With the, you know, I'm not saying it like started with, you know, certain lyrics, but the power of the word, the power of who we are. Hip hop runs the world, so you run the world. Walk around with your head up. Facts, alright? And we gonna build. Peace.
Who the real villain? The one crack dealing or oil drilling. You in my motherland and you killing all her children. Your dollars ain't backed by nothing. Fuck your millions. I'll pop your cantaloupe.
You know, we're gonna get this information out. Alright, I'm gonna start with definition of color. I gotta read it from the computer. This is the legalese definition. This is not Webster's dictionary, but this is the legalese. This is the definition that stands in court. Color, an appearance, semblance, or simulacrum, as distinguished from which is real. A prima facie, or apparent right, hence a deceptive appearance. A plausible, assumed exterior, concealing a lack of reality, a disguise or pretext. This is color. You calling yourself color?
And feed them to your children. What you think is Thanksgiving? Yo, if I was there, I would've killed the pilgrims. Broke now, my forefathers fumbled billions, trillions. But I keep it trilling, cause my inner wealth never diminished. Far from gimmicks, niggas will spill the beans without spilling their Guinness. I won't stop till my neck froze, till my neck gold, till my whole set hold. When I cash checks, bank rolls, no stack, shit can't fold. Can't trust you, your man told. Since it's the greatest to the hellhole. They throw dirt on my name, but it never stuck like Velcro. Came back clean on them. Glock 9 got the infrared beam on them. I remember I was smoking with a bitch named Keisha. Game time, I was in the bleachers. Now it's fourth quarter and I'm water. MVP, what? Chilling with my feet up.